Kev, when did we start selling backward shirts?
What?
Yeah, why is that backwards?
The hat is right.
Yeah.
The tat is right. It's on the correct arm. It says RS, but the shirt's backwards.
I'll sell
You
those.
didn't notice that, did you?
It don't matter. Nobody's looking at that.
Like other spin-offs of Pawn Stars, Counting Cars boasts a large following. The show chronicles the daily activities of Count's Customs, a company known for the restoration and customization of automobiles. The series follows Danny Koker, aka the Count, and his staff as they restore and breathe new life into classic automobiles and bicycles. The show has been able to crowd pull in the course of 9 years, gaining popularity among other similar shows. Despite being a done-before show, Counting Cars have the needed combination of elements that thrill viewers in their numbers. Sadly, the show has to deal with unavoidable losses, like the exit of the professional detailer Roli Szabo. It's expected for people to wonder what happened to him since no one knows the exact reason he left the show. So, what happened to Roli Szabo? And what has he been up to since his last appearance on the show? Fondly called Rock and Roli on the show, not so much of Roli's personal information can be found safe for those he freely shares on social media. One thing is clear though, his heavy accent will give him up as a Hungarian anytime. Before working at Count's Customs, Roli worked in numerous unbelievable positions. He drove the military ambulance and worked as a driver and bodyguard to the world's shortest man. After joining Count's Customs, however, Roli made many friends and also won the favors of other employees with his skill as a detailer and, of course, his hard-working nature. One thing many people don't know about Roli is that he started working with Koker even before they began filming Counting Cars, and worked for him for many years. Roli's responsibilities on the show include returning the automobiles to their pristine condition. So, for every time you see any clean and shiny automobile on the show, Roli has put in a lot of hard work to achieve that. Considering the cars are often old and rustic, Roli had to work twice as much to get a clean and impressive result. So, could that be the reason why Roli left the show? We've seen quite many stars exit shows without the slightest notification. Fans wake up to their absence without inkling of what happened to their faves. When the same happened to Roli, fans were equally surprised because they never saw it coming. Roli might not have been a famous face if not for his appearance on Pawn Stars and subsequently on Counting Cars, since his job on the show wasn't a major role like the others. So it would be difficult to pin his disappearance to having enough camera exposure. Some sources said that the continued exposure of Roli on the show was grating on him. Despite having a small role to play when compared to the other stars of the show, the kind of exposure that comes with appearing on national television can become overwhelming for some, and it's no different from minor characters. Sometimes it's hard to tell how people in the public eye feel, since we're not in their shoes. It's not so impossible that Roli grew tired of constantly appearing before the camera. Besides, he won't be the first to take a bow after trying the celebrity lifestyle. Working under the lenses of cameras takes its toll on some people, and it sounds like Roli got tired of that. So, if you're thinking being a minor act keeps you safe from the public, then you might want to reconsider, especially if you're aware of the harrowing incident that happened to Roli simply caused by fame. The incident also gave rise to the second reason, which many consider to have been why Roli left the show. What happened was that a trailer containing Roli's detailing equipment and hardware worth thousands of dollars was stolen and towed away from the parking lot of Mango's Beach Bar, where he parked the trailer in 2017. Upon investigation by the police department, they discovered Roli was explicitly targeted because the thieves were interested in owning something that belonged to a celebrity. As unbelievable as that sounds, that singular incident could make anyone reconsider a life of fame. Considering that Roli might be worried about his family's safety, it's possible he left on this basis. Unknown to many, Roli is a staunch family man. If he's not busy detailing, then he's somewhere having family time with his wife and daughter. Another speculation is that Koker fired Roli after the loss of his equipment, but we doubt the authenticity since the equipment belongs to Roli. Koker has no say over that. However, Roli admitted that he experienced a setback after his equipment was stolen. The incident was devastating for him as most of his primary equipment was taken away. It was like starting all over again. Another theory also suggests that Koker laid off Roli because he might have embezzled the company's funds. Well, that's untrue, because the real culprit behind the embezzlement was later nabbed, and it's no other person than Scott James, whom Koker has since filed appropriate charges against. Unfortunately, behind Roli's parting remains a mystery, but some fans have another likely reason for his exit, which could be the suggested case of fallout he had with his co-stars. When asked about his departure from the show, Roli gave an elusive reply. Surprisingly, the show never gave Roli a befitting farewell, nor was anything said alluding to his unavoidable exit from the show. Meanwhile, none of the parties have issued a rebuttal or acknowledgement concerning the speculations, making it hard to believe what really caused his exit. If there is, however, any bad blood between Roli and Koker, then they've done a great job hiding it. The question now is, everything was fine. When did Roli leave the show? Now that Roli has disappeared from our screens, fans are curious about what the reality star has been doing following his departure. While he might no longer be working for Koker and Count's Customs, Roli still expresses his affinity for auto detailing on his social media posts. For now, Roli runs his business called Rockin' Roli Customs Detailing. Looking at his social media posts, Roli appears to be faring well on his own, and he must have made a fortune enough to go by. Also, Roli seldomly shares some of his works on his YouTube channel. Aside from that, he also has a channel where he shares similar content and advice just like he did on the show. No doubt, Roli is doing great on his own. He posted about attending a training facility in Canada where he would learn how to become a highly skilled professional detailer. This is to show how dedicated he is to the craft. Talking about his financial status, Roli makes most of his income from appearing on the show and also from the shop he later founded. Other than that, there is no other known source of income. Currently, Roli is estimated to be worth about $200,000. Regarding his marital status, Roli Szabo is married to Tiff, and they both have a child born in 2014. Despite belonging to a career that involved the public, he somehow managed to keep his family under wraps successfully, and none is really known of his wife and daughter. Sadly, Roli is not back, and the show is currently running its 9th season. There seems to be no end to the show, and despite the obstacles it overcame, the show continues to wow its audience as they keep on rolling out spectacular creations. Regardless of other numerous car shows airing, Counting Cars still remains a favorite for fans of the auto restoration genre. The fact that the show is able to maintain the level of entertainment expected of History Channel has undoubtedly caused fans of the show to stick around to check out the next creation. Even though Roli's fans are interested in catching a glimpse of him, they can do so by following the reruns because we doubt the possibility of his return to the show. Never say never, so we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens next. Is that not the right thing to do, guys? All the same, Roli must have thought it would be fun being on the show, possibly a great way to get attention for his work, which is sensible, considering that being on the camera grants a person some access or exposure that can drum up successes in one's endeavors if on the lucky side. The idea of constantly being in front of a camera sounds hectic and intense, and sometimes it gets a little annoying, so we won't be entirely surprised if that was Roli's case. We've been wondering if it is indeed possible for anyone to give up on all that glitter and paparazzi that comes to stardom and choose a more quiet life. Do you all think that it's possible?